Hi, this is Andrew Abrams from Recur360. On this demo, I'm going to go over setting up a recurring payment via credit card or ACH and record it as an unapplied payment in QuickBooks that you can apply later to future invoices. A lot of consulting companies, whether you're a bookkeeper or in the IT services space, have clients that basically pay you on retainer. And you charge them at the beginning of the month for that retainer. And then at the end of the month, you create your invoices and then apply that unapplied payment to those invoices and then charge them for the remainder. So I'm going to go over just setting up a recurring payment that isn't against an invoice. So it posts into your customer center as an unapplied received payment, or what is also referred to as open accounts receivable. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through setting up a new customer and then add a payment to their account and then set up the recurring payment. You'll notice when I'm setting up a new customer, it's got a lot of the similar fields that you're used to in QuickBooks Online and Desktop. So I'm just going to go ahead and populate all of that information in. And now I'm going to go ahead and add an ACH as their form of payment. Now in QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop, you can't create a recurring payment. And in QuickBooks Desktop, you can't even set up a transaction that's a recurring payment in the form of an ACH. So you can set up a recurring credit card payment. So we're solving for all of those issues with Recur360's recurring payments module. So now that I'm creating this new customer, all of their information is being set up and synced in real time, both to QuickBooks Online and also in this case to Intuit Merchant Services, since that's the processor that we're using for all of our credit card or our ACH transactions. So if I go into my QuickBooks Online and I go to my customers, very shortly we'll see Andrew Design, created in there. And if I click on it, all the information that I populated in Recur360 got populated into QuickBooks Online as well. And at the same time, that ACH payment method got stored. So now I can go into recurring payments and I can say, let's say Andrew pays us $500 a month for retainer. So I'm going to go ahead and click on add a new recurring payment. I'm going to go ahead and search for or click on Andrew Design. And I'm going to say every month on the first of the month, and I'm going to backdate this 2 months just so we can see the transactions on it. So it'll process September, October, and November with no end date. Now I could certainly set it to end after a particular date or a certain amount of occurrences. I'm just going to say this has no end date. And I want to automatically charge the customer's card or ACH, and I want to send a payment email. So the payment type is check. And let's say, again, we're going to set that as $500 a month. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And it's basically saying it's going to run 3 times. Since I'm backdating it to September 1, if I tell this to process now, it's going to process it for September, October, and November to play catch up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say push transactions, and that's going to trigger this to run immediately rather than waiting for 1 a.m., which is when most of our transactions trigger. So we'll go ahead and push this transaction. And what's going to occur is it's going to generate a payment receipt, and then it's going to post that into QuickBooks as an unapplied payment. So let me go log into my email. And as soon as those transactions process, they're going to come into my email. And then they're also going to post in real time into QuickBooks. So while we're waiting for that to process, if I go into Recur360 and I go to customers, and I click on Andrew Design, excuse me, if we go into reports and I go into payment history, I'm going to see those payments logged in our payment history and that they were processed by ACH and that the processor ID is being logged in our system as well. And then if I go into my email, I'll see that the payment receipt was generated and it just shows that $500 was paid. It's processed by ACH. And here's our record ID for it. And then if I go into QuickBooks Online and I refresh Andrew Design, I'm now going to see those three payments sitting in here as negative accounts receivable, unapplied payments that I could apply to a future invoice that I create in QuickBooks Online. So with Recur360, you can set up recurring payments that are unapplied when they post over to QuickBooks. You can also set up a recurring payment that applies to an invoice until it's paid off. And I've got that on another demo that I've recorded that you can watch. Recur360 then tracks the payment history of the payment being processed. And Recur360 also tracks the email history of those payments being processed and then emailed out to the customer. So thank you for your time today. I hope you'll find this feature very important to your business, the ability to create recurring payments and have them process credit cards or ACH automatically, email your customer, and automatically post into your QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop. Thank you.